working for yourself. And I always kind of say you're really combining passion with profit and franchising, where you're making a difference in other people's life and you're also taking control of your future for your family, for yourself, and really providing these opportunities. But it obviously comes with some sort of risk. And especially, as you're starting a franchise consultancy, you don't necessarily have that franchise, that system in place, trying to kind of do it by yourself. So what was it like in those first 6, 12 months, when you're taking that big risk? And, can you talk to us now? Like, was it worth it? Are you 100% confident in the decision you made? Would you ever kind of go back to corporate America, or kind of walk us through that?
Okay, let me start with the end. No, I am not going back to corporate America. It was, and not that it's bad. I had a fantastic experience there. But let me tell you, it was not easy. When you come out of corporate America, when you pretty much slot into its own version of a system, like a franchise system has, and you do what you do every day, and you've got support people around you, and then it's just you. So every decision you make, you live and die by it. You just have to have the expectation set that you're willing to do that. And I was. I did on day one, I said, whatever I do here, the results are based on what I did. I'm not pointing the finger at anywhere else. I'm not going to make any excuses. It's up to me what I did. So I spent those early times, and they were lean, but I made sure I reached out to all the leaders in the franchise consulting space to find out what they do. Number one, I reached out to all the brands that I immediately had an affinity for or heard from those conversations to find out what made them tick, what made them good, what made them the best in their space, what made them differentiated in their space. I learned. Because that was the only way for me to feel confident enough that I can wake up every single day and say, well, I'm going to do the best job I possibly can. Why? Because I'm prepared. So that's what I did. And a lot of that came back from the experience from going back to high school, seeing what was around me, seeing what I wanted, what I couldn't do at that point, and knowing what I needed to do to get there. And I did it. And it was a great ride. I learned, I spoke to all the leaders that I could get my hands on to find out their tips, tricks, and techniques to get things done. I got a lot of brands in that I was able to navigate my portfolio very smartly. And I did a great job, I think, on behalf of my clients. I found a lot of people's lives I wound up changing. And it was so great and rewarding to feel that afterwards. It made it all worth it. And look, I'm never shy to say it. Sure, I might not have been making the money that I was making back in my corporate days, but the job satisfaction, life satisfaction was there. I was creating great relationships, changing people's lives, and let's face it, I was working from home. I was working my own hours. Nobody told me when to come in and when to stop. And you know what it turns out, Josh? I worked a hell of a lot longer on a daily basis than I did back in the corporate world. But I was doing it for me. And that was really the most rewarding thing. Getting into all this, and sort of at the end of the day, you're not going to know unless you try. And life is long. You're going to be working for the rest of your life. You might as well just try it to see if it works. If it wasn't working for me, I would have had to come up with another plan. But I made it work because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And then that's ultimately what led me to review all the brands in my portfolio and wound up with Naturals to Go for that reason.
No, it's so powerful, and I want to be respectful as we're kind of wrapping down time. And franchising is just so powerful, where you do kind of have to take that risk, but you can literally be in your 9 to 5 and still explore these opportunities and literally get a full picture of what the financials look like, what the lifestyle looks like, and being able to validate that opportunity. And as you kind of jumped into, you were a franchise consultant, you evaluated tons and tons of opportunities, and you made the decision to become a Naturals to Go owner operator. And I think anyone I speak to, I think always kind of mentions the idea of a vending machine and kind of how that works.